All right. Hello, YouTube. Hello, everybody checking out the stream live at twitch.tv/ I'm dropping my phone. Twitch.tv/ the_control_freak. Hopefully you didn't hear that phone crash. But we're playing some Rakdos, Scam, Shadow, Spyro, Monkey, Fable. I think I left one of those words out of the title somewhere. Rakdos, Scam, Shadow, Spyro, Monkey. Oh, we don't have the Fable in this list. That's why. Scam, Shadow, Spyro, Monkey. Alright. I think I like putting the scam part in the name first because it is more of a scam deck that happens to play Shadow. But this is a deck that we've played a couple times on stream. Very, very hit or miss. The very first league we played with it, we were running, it was a donation league because somebody wanted us to build a list around Fable of the Mirror Breaker. So we had Fable originally in this season Pyromancer spot. And it was okay. We ended up going like 4-1 that league. We missed out on a trophy in the 5th match. But the deck performed reasonably well. We're still not 100% sure on the Spyro versus Fable slot there. But I prefer Spyro because the immediate discard, the immediate getting bodies has been a lot more relevant for me than like Fable going in on one body and then having to untap and then getting a couple cards. So we'll see how it plays out. But the idea of the deck is you're first and foremost a Rakdos scam deck. Like you've got your Griefs, Furies, your Undying Evil effects, all your ways of pitching these cards. And that really sets up those first couple of turns. You're taking their best stuff, you're interacting, you're getting a reasonable clock down, preferably on turn 1. But what sets us apart from the typical scam decks is our backup plan, which is just like Street Wraith, Shadow, Dolphy, Voidwalker, which Dolphy I think is played in the scam decks anyway. But Shadow Street Wraith really gives us like that extra punch when the scam doesn't work out. So what we found out essentially was we were playing the scam deck and we kept having these hands of like turn 1, Grief, Malakir Rebirth the Grief, but Malakir Rebirth says you lose 2 life. Well, that puts us right in range for turn 2 Fetch Shock Shadow. So now all of a sudden we've got Grief, take their best card, Rebirth, take their second best card, turn 2 play a Shadow, and all of a sudden we've got 4 power in play with the potential of growing a lot bigger, especially if we Rebirth something else, or go turn 3 with like a Seasoned Pyromancer or something. We're really able to push that advantage. Sideboard, most of the matchups that you have trouble with are a lot of the fair stuff. Like 4-color Powell's not a great matchup. The blue-red Murktide deck is a little hit or miss. So we get things like Blood Moon, Fulminator Mage, Turok to really fight those. We get like Unlicensed Hearse for the blue-red matchup, things like that. We get to bring in some extra removal spells. Just seeing my last trophy was only $3 through the 4th bolt. I mean, I'd be fine with that too. Let's do it. I haven't exported the list yet, so. But yeah, basically the main deck is a lot more streamlined to try to beat some of the unfair stuff. The sideboard is juking into a little bit more of like a scam control, trying to beat up on the fair decks a little more. Like when the scam's not going to work perfectly, what's your backup plan? So let's go ahead and jump in. Stream Decker should be updated. Alright. Match number 1. Rakdos, Scam, Shadow, Fable, Monkey. I'm pretty sure we've changed the name of the deck every single time it's been played. So what was it last time? It was like Rakdos, Scam, Shadow, Fable, Monkey. This is like Rakdos, Scam, Shadow, Spyro, Monkey. Alright, winning the die roll with this deck is huge. So we could go turn 1, hold up Bolt. Turn 2, Dolphy. So this is one of the parts that we've been like trying to figure out with the deck is our backup plan good enough? I don't think this is good enough. If we had like a Thoughtseize maybe, but just like a turn 2 naked Dolphy, I don't think it's going to be good enough. So we're going to ship that back. Here, our backup plan is like Thoughtseize, Shadow, all this stuff. So this is like a reasonable, reasonable keep. So we'll just drop down this turn 1 monkey. And if our opponent doesn't interact a whole lot, then maybe we can go like turn 2, hit them, Thoughtseize, turn 3, just hard cast Grief. Dark Blast. Are we up against Dredge? That'd be miserable. We are, in fact, up against Dredge. Alright. We're taking Cathartic Reunion. Bring back our Dolphy hand, right? Alright, we do have double Shadow here. Yeah, this is all your fault that we ran into Dredge. I think I'm just going to go ahead and cycle this. Because if I hit a land, I'm kind of okay with that. Hold on to the second one. Yep. All right, that whiffed. They top deck another Cathartic Reunion. Ah, they're one blind draw too. Alright. Wasn't that painful of a Cathartic Reunion, thankfully. So, surprisingly, our turn 1, our game first hand would have been phenomenal. Alright, so I think I'm going to Fetch Shock, get this hit in with Shadow, and then evoke the Grief. Or, no, I know their hand is Ghoul, Amalgam, Amalgam, right? Yeah. I know their hand. So I think I just have to pass and hope this Dark Blast Dredge is dead. So I think if it hits anything, I'm dead anyway. Yes. That should be it. Amalgam, Amalgam. Or no, they discarded amalgams, or at least one amalgam to the Cathartic Reunion. Amalgam and a Dredger. So it's Silver Smoke, Ghoul, Prized Amalgam, Unknown. No. Silver Smoke, Prized Amalgam, Dark Blast, Unknown. Silver Smoke, Prized... Because I don't think they ditched the second amalgam. They only played one Cathartic Reunion. And they ditched the Dark Blast to Dredge. You've got a thug. Mike has no clue what's happening, YouTube. You're not wrong. Alright. Don't think... I guess I could just, like... Grief. Yep. It's fine. Like, maybe I should have done this without showing them the grief, but... Since we had the kill regardless. Alright. Winning game 1 against Dredge is huge. Can you hear me now? Guess the mic was just like frozen. Yeah, that was like worst case scenario was them hitting alright, so if I go Fury, Pitch the Blood Moon, Undying Evil the Fury, wipe the board, attack in with Ragavan, I can play Hearse, exile, Dark Blast. There's no good exiles, though. I guess they don't have black, so maybe they can't Dark Blast. But the problem is that they've just got Ox, Conflagrate, and Dark Blast. I want to get rid of the Dredger, but if I leave them with Conflagrate, they just wipe my board. So maybe I need to... I think I need to get rid of Conflagrate Ox and just let them have Dark Blast. More Conflagrates, or more Dark Blasts. Let's go Ox, Conflagrate. I think it'll be alright with a huge Fury. I mean, there's still Lightning Axe, which I would assume they're likely to have brought in. There's more Cathartic Reunions. Could you stop finding Narcomoebas, please? And double prized amalgam. Jeez. So I know they've got Dark Blast, Imp. There's another Ox in the yard. Have like no good attacks. Yeah, I know I have to eat Ox. We've got these two otherworldly gazes. Yeah, I guess Ghoul's the only thing that's coming back. So now I actually like want them to Lightning Axe me. Or Lightning Axe Fury so I can Malakir Rebirth it. Yeah, this is just like your stereotypical modern case of being on the draw. Like having unlicensed hearse on turn 2 instead of turn 2 on the draw instead of turn 2 on the play is completely the difference in this match. Yeah, I'm just dead to the dudes on board. Is there anything we can draw to get out of this? Can't think of anything. Let's Thoughtseize for information. I just straight up. Oh, man. Triple Dark Blast. So, I mean, maybe spot removal spell. Nope. All right. So, out of their graveyard, we saw Portable Hole and Wear and Tear. So, there's a decent chance that, like, a turn 1 Fury could put in a lot of work. So, Wear and Tear, Portable Hole. Maybe I want to think about Chalice, Dark Blast, Otherworldly Gaze, Portable Hole. It's probably not enough. Do I want some number of EE? I can play EE on 3 off of Ragavan Treasure. Yeah, I think I'm good with a couple explosives over a couple wraiths. This is just too slow, right? If I had the rebirth effect, I could grief. But okay, this is good. We ditch the Fury. Turn 1, we rebirth the grief. Turn 2, Dolphy. This might get us there. They've mulled to at least 6. Alright, so hiya. Stack our triggers. Do I want to just take double Otherworldly Gaze? I think I do, because that means he can't flash 1 back or play 1 turn 1, because it's 2 to flash it back. And then turn 2 I play Dolphy. That covers Thrilling Discovery. So yeah, let's go with that. See. How about Obosh as a commander? Only Dolphy seems to be 2 mana drop. Yeah, but Dolphy's pretty important to the deck. Plus, Grief is a 4 drop, so you can't because of Grief. Yeah. We get to exile this Arid Mesa too. Yes, you can't play Obosh, but I like the thought there. Alright, Malakir Rebirth is really nice. Now we've got an answer to like a Lightning Axe or something. Don't have an answer to a portable hole. What are you ditching? Ox prized amalgam. Nice. I was actually really hoping that I drew a black card there just so I could scam this second grief. Like, I was probably going to grief regardless, but hitting the black card just to be able to scam that grief is nice. Malakir the Dolphin sacrifice. We just, like, didn't need to, right? Like, we had more than lethal. They were the ones that had to do something to get out of that. We were exiling everything. Like, I think just taking the 3 damage and putting them dead to either of our creatures was fine. Just wanted to flex and back the Budweiser truck up on Dredge players. If that was the plan, I'm all for flexing. So, that's fair. Arceus Dota. Alright, what do we got? Turn 1 Bragavan. Turn 2 Wraith. I guess we could cycle this Wraith, and if we draw into a Fury or a Grief, we can scam. What do I think about this just as a fair hand? Yeah, roll with it. I am going to lead with cycle this Wraith, though, just in case we find a Grief. So I think I would rather Grief than, or rather scam Grief than play out the Ragavan. This Murktide. So I want to go for Fury. If this is Murktide, I can play around Spell Pierce. Doesn't play around Lightning Bolt. I think I'm just going to pass. Bot says last seen on Rhinos for what it's worth. I don't really pay attention to the bot. Alright, so it does look like Rhinos, though. Alright, so let's play the Shatter Skull. Play Shadow. And I'm going to sit back on this monkey. So if they play Rhinos right here, I can evoke Fury, Undying Evil, kill off 2 Rhinos. They evoke a Fury of their own. Am I saving my shadow? Yes. Why are you playing Ardent Plea? That is... I mean, I guess maybe as an extra card to force? Seems weird. I don't think holding on to this swamp really does anything, but whether I play it this turn or next, probably doesn't matter. Just double plea. Alright. Little bit of trouble. So let's say we swing with both. If they don't block, they just die. I think they're pretty likely to go like block on the shadow, don't block the fury. So where does that put me? Bolt myself. Bolt myself, go to 8, kill a Rhino, hit them for 8, and I'm dead to... any 2 damage burn spell? Dead to Fire and Ice or to another Stomp, because then they just hit me with the double exalted for 6. But I really want to keep double creature around. Yep. As expected, block shadow, don't block the fury. Dead to stomp, dead to fire. It's got to mean one of them. You just have another Rhinos rolled up. Double petty theft. God, it is. I don't have enough mana to play out both Bone Crusher and Brazen Borrower. Got a block. I know you got a block. think you know you have to block. I honestly don't have the slightest idea what they could be tanking on here. Yeah. So we play Shadow, and if they go for fetch this Misty, we bolt them. Which they shouldn't do because they've already seen a Lightning Bolt. I don't think fetching does anything for you. I guess unless you top deck a Fury, you can like Fury my Fury, block the Shadow, but that's about it. We're still dead to another Stomp or a Fire and Ice off the top. I wonder if they cut another Cascade spell for these Ardent Pleas, or if this is like in place of something else in the deck, like maybe Ardent Plea over Fire and Ice. But no, we've seen Fire and Ice. So why are you scooping there? Does that tell me anything? That's gotta tell me something, right? Maybe like no Shardless Agent? So they couldn't just like untap and have the potential at 3 blockers? That would be like my initial guess, but Alright, so Chalice for sure. Like, Fulminator looks a lot better on the play than the draw, but maybe it's worth bringing in some number. It's like Fulminator versus Street Wraith for that spot. It's probably better than Street Wraith, because my plan is Chalice. Yeah, I guess Terminate's fine. What am I bringing in Terminate over? Maybe like an Undying effect. Counter Undying. Want to take out the Undying one. Full Undying here? Need another cut. We'll look at like the second Fulminator on the play. Do I prefer this deck to the mid-range rock version? Depends on the meta. Turn 1 Rebirth, turn 2 Scam of Grief. Turn 1 play Rebirth, turn 2 Scam of Grief. Is that worth it? That's like, these are really... I'm gonna keep it. This is another one of those really iffy ones, but like, Bolt. This deck's pretty good if you're playing against a bunch of linear stuff. Bunch of like living end. It's decent against Rhinos here. That kind of stuff. It's not going to be as good if you're playing against a lot of fair mid-range stuff. Really hoping for a second land. Have to grief here. All right. We'll do this, so next turn, if they play Shardless Agent, we can scam a Fury. Kill the Rhinos at least. That ice got us pretty good. Yep. Alright. So we need like an Undying Malice or Feign Death or something. Or that's halfway reasonable. Hiya. This might have been a trap hand. I guess we can get a lot better versus Rhinos with our hate cards. Would have been paid off with the red source. So, yeah, like, there were a lot of decent payoffs there. And I mean, if they just didn't have the turn 2 ice, we were in good shape. So, but obviously, like, turn 2 ice us into 3, 4, turn 3, 4, and 5 cascade spells. Not a whole lot to do about that. Fulminator, yeah, Fulminator, I do like better on the play. Really iffy on these terminates. I'm gonna trim a terminate. Like, I've got EE, Fury. Just like a clock. It's a really good fair hand. Alright. Just throw back second Spyro. Yeah, shaving a Pyro would have been reasonable. Do I need to just Pyro? Ditch like second Pyro rebirth here? Cause like if I play Fulminator, they just don't fetch, right? Like if I play Fulminator, they just go don't fetch, and then hit me. Or I play Fulminator, they untap, maybe they evoke a Fury and kill both of them, and I just get nothing out of that. Some dudes sit tight. I don't mind sitting tight. But I mean, I feel like Pyro is better than sitting tight. Yeah, I think I'm gonna Pyro. Because I've got so many good things I can draw into. Like EEs are always a live draw. Alright, we'll pass here. They can't ice me without getting fulminated. Yo-Yo Mac, Yo-Yo? My name's not Mac. At least I don't think it is. Unless I've been lied to my entire life. Which I suppose is possible. There's the Fury. We've been waiting on you. Like, how bad would Fulminator have looked if they just went, don't play a land, or play a fetch land, evoke Fury, kill them, we go to Fulminator, they sack it. Now, if they have, like, Fury, evoke, into Ice, into Cascade spell. I'm like, also, why are you bringing in Blood Moon? Just let me go to my main phase. Or if you're gonna ice me, please, for the love of God, give me an Undying Evil effect. Well, I would like to get a Fulminator out there, but I think opponents trying to decide whether or not they should ice me right here. Spoiler alert, they should always. You know, like petty theft my token. You are in fact gonna petty theft my token. Alright. So land for grief would be good. Undying Evil effect for grief would be good. Opponent not having a second land would be good. Worth a try. Sucks they had the Fury. I mean, they always have the Fury. Like, it's Rhinos. Of course they have the Fury. Their deck does two things. It's half Cascade effects and cast Furies. I think I'm out here making this up. Oh, man. Yep. How about a little engineered explosives off the top? Okay. So they attack with everything. We block Shardless Agent. Get it off the board. Play Shadow Shadow. You are so late. Alright, the hope here is that they find a land, they attack with the Rhinos, I block one, they Fury, or now if they attack I can just like double block the Rhinos. No way they attack all out. Oh man. Block, block. Yep. Land Fury. I don't know, just more Rhinos. God! Why did you shock? I guess you needed the white, but still. Oh. Alright, so I attack with both of my shadows. They have to block both, or I Malakir Rebirth and they die. Hiya. Hold, brothers, hold. God, no. One thing you weren't supposed to do. Alright. So they have to have something. They've got to have something. Fury unknown unknown. That is technically something. So I need an engineered explosives off the top to win. Right, we needed something. We just needed something. How many rhinos? Was that 3 rhinos we had to deal with? Ah. That's frustrating. That was like all of our cards in the wrong order. Also, where were our Dolphies? Dolphy at any point would have been good. EE would have been fantastic. We boarded in 3 of those. Fatal Push we had. Terminate we had at least 1. Two Chalice of the Void. Yeah, they did almost not block, but if they already had the second Cascade spell, then, like, blocking was 100% right. I'm going to keep it. This is turn 2 double shadow. All right. Thoughtseize, Ragavan, another shadow. We just dudded while they were ripping the fire, right? Like, those Ardent Pleas actually made a big deal, just having Cascade spell 9 through whatever. Alright, so if they don't have Cascade spell here, we can untap, hit for 5, probably just pass. But I can't imagine they don't have Cascade spell here. Yep. Alright, Undying Evil effect. Whew. Deck. Alright. So we're just killing the Waker, playing double shadow. Is that our plan? Or are we attacking first and trying to trade off with something else? Which, honestly, they just probably have another... I guess they could always have a Force of Negation too. About 100 billion things we don't beat here. Looks like Force of Negation. There's a dog going crazy outside somewhere. Dog, calm down. They've got to have force and negation. If you're tanking that long and just like not passing priority through. Yep. There you go. Alright, they could always just like mess up attacks. Cut a Dolphy, they say, yeah, that was a horrendous call. We've seen Dredge, Rhinos living in. All matchups that we wanted Dolphy. None of which we wanted Lightning Bolt. So this is 6 getting through. This is 8 getting through. Make these shadows both 10-10s or 10-11s. Maybe I really am just whitelisted. No fucking shit. Have you seen you play? You were absolutely whitelisted. So I'll just take the free block. Like, a good comparison for you is this guy that plays locally. His name's Carlos. And he always plays, like, 5-color Planeswalker decks in Standard. That's, like, his thing. Always wants to play just a bunch of Planeswalkers and 4 or 5 colors. And every time he builds a deck, it's just, like, this 5-color pile with, like, 1 mana dork of some sort. And he's just always like, well, I don't need more than that because I just always draw them. Like, I always draw the 1. I always have the 1 Llanowar Elf in hand. Just every single game. And he's like, why would I need to put more if I just always have it? I'm like, you know what? You're right. I can't argue. Like, of course you don't need more if you just always have the elf there. Awesome deck builder indeed. Like, I swear, during, what was it, Dominaria, Ixalan, Standard, and all that, he just played, like, 5-color Planeswalkers with his 1 Llanowar Elf that he had turn 1 every single game. Alright, so if they Living End here, they get back to double Riverwinder, but they don't get back Waker. They don't get back Street Wraith. I get back a Shadow and a Ragavan, a Fury, and a Street Wraith. It's like I'm in pretty decent shape if they go for it. Maybe I can find like another Undying effect and get back one of these shadows as well. But yeah, he's just like the epitome of why do I need 4 mana dorks in my like 5-color, all 4 5-drop hands if I just always have the 1 and my opponents never have the removal spell for it. Like, I don't need to run more. Doing this just to put grief in their yard. With the exile. Living in. So that's 2 living ins gone. So if they cast one here, that'll be it. And if they cast it here, Fury gets to come back and kill their grief. So that's not a bad deal for me. Ooh. They shouldn't have gone to my draw step if this was the plan. Should not have gone to my draw step. Unless their last 2 cards are Force of Negation and another blue card. Double Force of Negation, triple Living End, and we still have a chance. Oh, man. This game. It could be worse. Absolutely. But I've got to decide what I'm attacking with. Like, I think I'm attacking Shadow and Fury. And the fact that they haven't hit their 4th land drop is phenomenal. Because at least they can't hard cast like a Subtlety or something like that. Subtlety or that 4-mana like 4/4 flyer. What's that dude's name? Curator of Mysteries. Alright. So if I attack Shadow and Fury, let's say they double block the Shadow. They take 6. I kill a Riverwinder. They don't have an attack back. And they have to block a Fury next turn. So I do like that more than just attacking with the Shadow. I could also attack with like a Ragavan here. And if they go block a Shadow, block a Ragavan, I guess I'm dead to like a Colossal Sky Turtle. Yeah, All Swing does make them dead to both big guys. So what is it? It's Colossal Sky Turtle, Brazen Borrower are the things that stop me from killing. Alright. Brazen Borrower, Sky Turtle. What's the position I'm in if I just attack with these 2? They bounce one, double block the other. I kill one, they have a crack back. We're going to flip a coin. Heads, all out. Tails, just the Fury in the shadow. Tails, just the Fury in the shadow. Let's see if the universe has abandoned us. Yep, they go for the double block on the shadow. That's good. I think the Sky Turtle's like, it's 2 to channel, it's not 3. Alright, so we'll attack Fury, Ragavan, Wraith. We're just attacking all around. Yeah, because they have to bounce something to survive, and if they bounce something, then I can replay the second Ragavan. Maybe I should have just forced the action, get her last turn. So they did have the Sky Turtle. So they block Ragavan, take 3. I really hope they block Street Wraith and take 2. But no such luck. I would love to kill that thing if it didn't have hexproof. But I want to know if they drew the Sky Turtle last turn or if they drew it this turn. Let's just play out a Shardless Agent. Alright, red card for Fury. I guess I can just attack here. I think they're supposed to just attack. I guess they're dead to like me top decking another Ragavan. Alright, let's cast you. Rid of that. That's a turn. Alright, so die. Whew. Winning game 1 through triple living in, double force of negation. That's a fun one. Alright, so I do like Fulminator a lot better against Living End. Mainly because they usually don't have like any good way of interacting with the turn 1 Ragavan. Rhinos has got the 4 Fire and Ice, the what's it called, Dead and Gone's, Evoke Fury, all that stuff. So like Fulminator on the draw, turn 3 is too slow, turn 2 is reasonable. But I also have to be a little careful because I've run into a streak against this deck recently of losing to like endurance and brazen borrower and that stuff when I just have the graveyard like locked down. So I would rather not have another game that goes like that. Like, I think the last 3 times I've played against Living End, I've like won game 1. Game 2, my interaction on the draw has been too slow. And then game 3, it's just like they turn 2 grief, turn 3 endurance, turn 4 brazen borrower or something. Alright, so we're going to try to get down turn 1 Ragavan here. Turn 2, we'll Seasoned Pyromancer, ditch the Dolphy to the yard. Up to 100k points. Let's go. That's a lot of points. Lot of points. Also wouldn't mind just finding a grief, but we know how that goes. Leyline of the Void. So let's go Spyro. We'll ditch the Dolphy and probably just an extra rebirth effect. Okay. And we ditch the Dolphy so that if they cast the Living End here, we get back the Dolphy. It exiles the Living End, and then we can choose to cast our Living End and get our stuff back. Bring it on. Probably take either the Fury or the Rebirth. Well, I guess if they have a violent outburst, then they can just like do it on my turn and it doesn't matter that much. Why would they? They should do this on my turn so that I don't get to untap with a non-summoning sick Dolphy. Don't think they understand how this interaction works. It's possible they don't. I didn't the first time I played this deck. I was like, so I have the Dolphy out, and they cast the outburst, and then I'm supposed to sack it? Like, why do I want to sack it? Don't I want it to be, like, on the battlefield? Well, they could just have Force of Negation, so I guess we get to check. So let's take a gander over yonder. Or actually, start by Fulminator. So I want that back. Take a look over yonder way. Oh, they just got like nothing. Alright, so let's sack Dolphy, target Living End. I want this stuff. Man, opponent, your hand sucks. Oh, man. Finally a free win. I know, right? After all these matches, we needed that. Oh, wow. Dolphy is dumb into Living End. So it's so situational. Like, I've messed up the Dolphy interactions a lot. Because, like, on the draw of the first couple turns, I was like, oh, I just play my Dolphy on turn 2 on the draw. and it kind of protects me. But they just untap on turn 3 and main phase they're living in, and Dolphy doesn't do anything. So, like, sucks. But then on the play, having Dolphy on turn 2 is like lights out. On the draw, you could Thoughtseize or Inquisition yourself or hit Dolphy. Or like that, Ragavan into Spyro, ditch the Dolphy is phenomenal. Alright, so I'm going to keep this as like a fair shadow hand. I've got turn 1 Ragavan, turn 2 Dolphy. If we're up against like Tron or Amulet or something, we might get to like turn 1 Ragavan, turn 2 Dolphy plus Grief something. Grief a Karn, whatever. Is this another Living End? We're just going Living End into Living End on top of Living End. It's Living End. It's 100% Living End. Oh, man. Well, being on the play with this hand is phenomenal. Oh, and they yield to end of turn. Oh, no. Opponent. Not like this. I just get to go like hit with Ragavan into hardcast Grief. So I don't want to attack with this Dolphy. I do want the ability to sack it in response to their Living End. So it goes to the graveyard, Living End brings it back and exiles the Living End. Oh, their hand's rough. I think we're just going to take the actual Outburst. Kind of take that approach of, if I don't need to sack the Dolphy, I just won't. Alright, land there is actually really nice, because now I can hard cast another Grief if I want. Or just hard cast their Grief. That seems reasonable. We just got Griefs all around. No, let me cast your Grief, opponent. I want to triple Grief you. I want to cause you the grief that your deck has caused me for the last, like, 2 months. Let me have this one. Alright. Do I want Blood Moon on the draw? I didn't bring it in last time. I could probably do without it. But it's not the worst thing in the world. Like the Ender of Living End. They deserve it. They deserve it. You know how many times I've been done in by opponents just having like, oh, here's my Living End, or my Violent Outburst backed up by triple Force of Negation in a mystical dispute. And I'm just like, not a damn thing I could have done about that. Alright. So this would be like a good one in the game one in the blind hand. Turn 1, Agadine, Thoughtseize. Turn 2, Fetch, Shock, Shadow with Rebirth backed up. Not good against Living End. Like, we just don't have any sort of interaction here. Thoughtseize into Dolphy. I'll take. Probably just throw back the third land. Do have to be a little bit careful because, again, like, turn 1 or turn 2 Dolphy on the play or on the draw. Turn 2 Dolphy on the draw isn't good. But now that I've drawn the Fulminator, I can turn 2 Dolphy, Fury. Yeah. This isn't your opponent's control, so I can Fury my own Dolphy and just get like everything in the graveyard if I need it. Or if they don't have a way to Living End here, then I'll just play out the Dolphy. So are we taking Subtlety and letting him Sky Turtle, or are we taking Sky Turtle and letting him Subtlety? I would take Sky Turtle and let him Subtlety. Alright, so the hope here is our opponents have like 2 draws and they don't find... They found third land. I'm gonna say hope they don't find third land, and now it's got to be exactly Shardless Agent. See if they decide to Subtlety. They don't. Does this mean that they have... Do I need to Fury my Dolphy right now? It either means they don't have a blue card or they don't have... Oh, I think the power is about to go out. They'll see it flickering. Oh, we'll keep going just in case. They could just get to like hard cast Subtlety. But I think they just have a turn 3 Living End here. Don't. Oh man. Alright, if that's the case, we're going Fulminator. Yep. Get them farther off of just hard casting this Subtlety. I think that's the plan right now. All right. So we are like at the point of the game where we do need to get them dead. Sure. Got a force negation. Nope. Well, a little bit unfortunate for the home team. Can't just cast a Waker of Waves here. I believe is what we're going to end up doing. Sure. They want the flyer. Oh. 6. So we're dead. That's rough. Anything else we can do? Don't think so. Nothing we could have cast that was better than the Waker. That's pretty funny that, like, oh, the Waker does shrink their stuff. Okay, it just, like, wasn't showing up originally. I guess it was waiting for state-based actions to pass. That's pretty funny. Why... Do I have any out? Do I have any out? So I can sack a Dolphy, cast something off their side. But nothing with flying. Attack with the big boy first. I mean, I know their last card is Breeding Pool. Oh yeah, I can't just cast Living In again. You're right. Oh man, I'm stupid. So if that's the case, I want to attack with... Yeah, just Waker. Cast Living End. But I'll sack a Dolphy to target something else, and then sack Dolphy, target Living End. So let's go sack you, target Architects of Will. No, they've got Misty, so that doesn't matter. Just target Riverwinder. Sack Dolphy, target Living End. Cast Living End. Cast Riverwinder. Play use, say go. Oh man. I did not even see the Living End in there. Like, I saw the Street Wraith, never saw the Living End. So I was like sitting there looking like, alright, you don't have flying, you're a Street Wraith, you don't matter, you don't have flying, just skip straight over that. That's like one of those almost big moto punts. Like, if it's on paper, I'm looking at my opponent's cards that they have specifically exiled with Dolphy and, like, thumbing through and going, oh, there's a living end in here. I can cast that. That's pretty good. But on Moto, you just, like, browse straight over stuff. Gob for the win. Nope. Not good against Yorion. Not good against... Not scamming. This is better. What am I getting rid of? Probably Undying Malice. So at least Rebirth can be a third land for this Spyro if I need it to be. What? Yorion opponent has molded to 5 cards? Or is this just blue-white control? Let's see. Let's start Fetch Shock. Cycle Street Wraith in case we had a grief. Thoughtseize. Solitude, Solitude, Traverse the Elven Wall. I think it's just a Yorion, or 4-color Yorion pile. So if that's the case, I'm just going to go turn 3 Spyro, ditch, like, double Shadow. Because at any point they can add Yorion to their hand, and Shadow's just dead anyway. So it's not a big reason to put a whole lot of stock into it. Never mind. Never mind. Can you say best possible draw in the deck? Let's take Solitude. Hiya. Hiya. Can you say best possible draw in the deck? Opponent, I swear if you rip another Solitude off the top, I'm going to find address and postal code. We're going to have words. If you find 3rd Solitude in your 80 card Yorion deck, they exile Prismatic Ending. Yep. I should have Spyroed first. Could have hit a fetch land or something. Yep. That's a big damage punt there. Big damage punt there. That'd be 3 more damage. That would make the shadows lethal. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Bounce the Spyro. You won't. You never do. Never fall for it. Just one time I would like my opponent to go like, you know what? I am going to bounce the Spyro. That's a good line. I can't afford to take that extra 2. Alright, so let's go you, to fairy, to fairy. I don't think that one extra damage matters, but I want to make sure to fairy dies. Dolthy, Shadow. If you got a verdict, you got a verdict. Let's traverse for a solitude. Okay. They have to have solitude, but solitude doesn't save them here. They just prismatic ending my token. Man, 4-color players, am I right? Alright, so we got Fulminators, we got Turoks. K-Command's not great. Blood Moon, unfortunately, is probably a necessity. I know Blood Moon is not even good against the 4-color pile decks. But is it better than, like, Lightning Bolt? Yes. Is it better than... I'm sure there's plenty of other stuff it's better than. How many... They have Solitude that can deal with a quick Fury. I'm going to go like that. Trim a Shadow for Blood Moon. Then trim a bunch of the spot removal for Turoks and... Alright. I'm going to keep because they mulliganed. Alright, so let's see what they got going on. Ren, Ice Fang. So if I take Ice Fang, or am I taking Ren and Furying the other Ren? No, I just want to take the dude that blocks and draws a card. Then here I'm going to go... Play a Rebirth is a land. Evoke a Fury. Killing Ren. And Malakir Rebirth Fury. The next turn I can have Dolthy plus Hold Up Rebirth. Yep. I think I'm just cracking in at them. It's like they've got lands, so... But now they don't. Man. Nobody expecting the Dolphy today. Everybody keeps F6 until the end of the turn, and then Dolphy just coming in sniping stuff. Just third Ren. Ooh. We gonna get him. We gonna get him. That one. That was hot. That was so hot. Why cast our own Ren when we can cast our own Spyro? Alright, we're just going all face here. Like, verdict me, I dare you. I mean, I guess they could just have Omnath plus land. That's a little annoying. Do we run Bolt? We do run Bolt, but I boarded out the bolts. I boarded out the bolts for the 2 Turok and the 2 Fulminator, and then boarded out the 4th Shadow for 1 Blood Moon. Okay, 4-1. Really nice league. Our only loss was to Hammer Time. Or not Hammer Time, Rhinos. Rhinos. Which game 3, we just didn't see anything relevant. Ito Van Neal, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome Wednesday wherever you're at in the world. Appreciate you coming around and hanging out. But yeah, like the deck performed pretty well. We beat Living In twice. We beat the 4-color Yorion deck. And what did we beat the first round? Dredge. So despite Dogfish's best efforts in sabotaging this league by asking us or telling us we should cut the 4th Dolphy for the 4th Bolt, in which we proceeded to play against 4 matchups where we want Dolphy, like aggressively want Dolphy, with Dredge, Living In, Rhinos. So I'm going to go back to the 4th Dolphy, one way or the other. The sideboard plan, Fulminator still looks meh to me, but I realized we didn't really see like Fulminator heavy matchups. Like it's going to be great against Tron and Amulet and reasonable against 4-color. But I don't like bringing it in against Living In and Rhinos and that stuff. It just doesn't feel like it's doing enough to slow them down. Like you have to have Ragavan on 1, Fulminator on 2, something else on 3 for Fulminator to look halfway reasonable. And then, like, especially Rhinos, they can just choose not to fetch. They can just hold up their fetches from now until the end of time and play around Fulminator. So yeah, Fulminator I think is the weak link out of the sideboard. I don't really know what you would replace it with. Maybe another Fatal Push and something if you just wanted a little more interaction. But I still think the deck needs to be streamlined some more. Like you've got, in this case, 3 Dolphy, 3 Street Wraith. I think I'd rather see 4 and 4 of each of those. Maybe like cut the Agadine for the 4th Street Wraith. Since you've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20 lands. I could see like that. Like, you never cast Agadine. It's always just like a land that you can pitch to Fury. Or pitch to Grief. But Street Wraith you can pitch to Grief as well. So. And then, like I said, 4th Dolthy I really want in there. Let's add our Dolthy back. That's like a start. And then if you really did want to add the 2nd Bolt land or whatever, then maybe over like maybe over 4th Shadow. But Shadows were really good that league. Shadows have always really impressed me in this deck. Let's see, out of the sideboard, 2nd push for more of the creature matchups. If you did want the 2nd Fulminator, maybe over the K-Command. I don't think K-Command's very good in this deck. Maybe like that. But you kind of get the idea.